Good evening. How you doing, sweethearts? I hope good. Look at all the condors are back again. Can you see them all flying up there? We are in a period of resurrection and rebirth. Energies are intense, sweet ones, and you're going to find that many of you that have messaged me saying these energies are intense, and my team is... I've been asking my team to ease them up, and my team's not easing them up. Your team's not going to ease them up anymore, sweet ones. Your angels, your teams, these energies are going to increase, period. There is no easing up. We're in full throttle. This is the last leg of this freedom ride as we go into this shift on the 23rd. And through this equinox, it's, tomorrow is the point of no return. And you're going to find these lower frequencies are going to fall away. Your eyesights are blurry. Your guys' crown chakras are fully opening. The veils are fully being removed for each of you. And good morning, Brenda, Stephanie, Cheryl, Barbara, Anna. Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. And Stephanie, they are intense. And sweet ones, it is really, really necessary to ground. Ground. Hug a tree. Walk barefoot in the grass for 45 minutes a day. You can split that up, hold some fresh flowers. Take a salt bath. But these energies are not going to let up. They're going to continue to increase. And at this space in time continuum, your teams are right there walking hand in hand, side by side with you, but we cannot lessen these energies up. And this is, for months, for years, I've been saying, especially this past year, I've been saying it's like a straitjacket. And that straitjacket is going to continue to be pulled tighter and tighter and tighter. This dark moon, this new moon the other night, it reactivated or re-triggered, however you want to describe it, sweethearts, everything that was triggered and brought up around the total solar eclipse. And anything that is not of the highest frequency of love is coming up. And it has to be released. And this is where so many you're going to really, really start seeing after this weekend. More and more transitioning, more and more people falling out of your realities, because this is the split of the worlds, the point of no return. There's no going back after this weekend. And you can liken it, if you will, to the burning of the bridges. And, those of you who have chosen to cross that bridge into the fifth dimensional new earth frequencies, you won't be going back, and you're going to find all that stuff fall away. You're going to find the lower frequency playground, if you will. Let's put it that way. Playground. A lot of that stuff is going to fall away from your physical reality. And this is a glorious, glorious time. Yes, these energies are intense, but if you take the opportunity, sweethearts. How you doing, Beth? How you doing, Brenda, Curtis? Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. If you take the time, sweethearts, and you really observe what is coming up for you, much of this is collective. Right now, you're in a space where the collective is kind of quiet. Now, everything is an inversion, is a contrast, a polarity within a polarity. And, when the collective gets a little quiet, Gaia rears up. And when it gets a little intense, in the past, she's calmed down a little bit. There's no calming down. Gaia's golden. And she's not sacrificing herself no more for her children. And this is that cutoff point. And it is the end of the grace period. Humanity's been in a grace period for 5 years, guys. And Gaia's given up with the grace period. She's done. And that's why these energies are so intense. And everything that is not of the frequency of love is coming up for you to look at, for you to observe. And for you to still see where you're holding judgments, where you're still thinking through the egoic mind artificial intelligence programming. And you're really seeing this come up prevalent on the news feed. You're seeing it in comments. You know, people are still in a space of not fully going within their heart and validating authenticity and stuff like that. And they're allowing, well, I don't see it, you know, or this and that. And they're going out and they're testing people, you know, making comments and stuff in code, thinking they're going to entrap people in a comment. And, you know, all that stuff comes from the egoic mind. That has nothing to do with the heart. Because your heart has no and needs no testing of anybody to see if they're genuine or authentic. That is an aspect within yourself that you need to observe, you know, and figure out why you're still finding to doubt what somebody's saying. And if you're really finding yourself in a space where you're having to test people or trying to use that as a tool for discernment, the only tool you need is within your heart, sweet ones. You don't need to test anybody. That comes from your egoic mind, and that's the stuff that's coming up to show you what needs to be released at this time. And much is, you know, you're going into more of a telepathic communication space, a frequency of that, and more of your gifts are being activated through all of these energies coming up and coming in. And it really truly is the headaches, the aches and pains, the blurriness in your eyes, I'm trying to think what else somebody said they're really going through. Vertigo, lightheadedness. That's all normal. Right now, you know, we've gone through a whole lot of jumps. And if you can, well, man, I don't know if some of you can see it or not, but can you see all the condors still flying up there? But if you can look, like maybe you can see it through here. Can you see that big white cloud up there over the trees? This one right here. You can tell if you look at your sky. If you look at the clouds, they seem more three-dimensional. I don't know, like those movies, you guys have to wear those glasses on to see three-dimensional. If you pay attention, you can see that. You can really see where it really has, the physical really has changed. It is climbing and climbing and climbing in frequency. Beth says, Cheryl says, agitation. How you doing, Sharon? Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. Beth says a sick stomach. And all of that is showing you, you know, your body is releasing. There's rashes. There's, you know, somebody mentioned yesterday they're breaking out in a lot of acne. That's normal. All of this is normal. And there is a lot of fear being put out right now of the 23rd and the returning of Christ and this and that in the third and sweet ones. It's really helpful, you know, to step back. If you know, your teams cannot decrease the intensity at this space and time. However, your teams, if you observe, if you step back and really quiet your mind, you're going to find that the majority of your guys' teams are asking you to step back, to step away from social media, to step away from the news and this and that, and to really go into a space of introspection. And that's really, Brenda, feeling anxiety, Linda. All of that stuff, sweet ones, is showing you need to ground. These energies are so intense. I can see that about Christ. Oh, I didn't receive a crystal. And can you please send one? Send me one. Curtis, if you haven't sent me, message me your address, send it to my PM, and I'll add you to the list. Sweet ones, I've sent the first batch out. I still have about 270 some to send out, and then I'm without a vehicle, so the next batch will go out the beginning of the month. I'm trying to figure out another way to send them out, because there's been like 5 out of the 50 that I've sent out already that for whatever reason the post office has either lost them or the packages have been damaged and the crystals aren't in there. And I've had 2 come back today. Rachel, Amber, yours came back saying your address is not. If you're watching this, your address is coming back saying it was not valid, the address you gave me. So if you could message me, beautiful, I'd appreciate that. Is that malachite you're wearing? Yes, it is. It's a malachite. It's a malachite. Can you see it? Skull. And I also have I'm also holding a merlinite, carrying a merlinite with a buffalo skull on it. Well, actually, I have that in my bra, but so, you know, really allow yourselves. What will help you guys with these energies, sweet ones, is really going outside, spending time in nature, taking salt baths. Were you able to see it, Bo? Could you see it? Can you see it better there? And really, you know, even if some of you live in a city, you don't have access, you're around a lot of cement, you know, if you can get fresh flowers, fresh roses, hold them in the palm of your hand, the energy that from those flowers will also help ground you. Another thing, your eyesight is being upgraded a lot. If you walk outside, and the reason I say walk outside, you can probably see it within your houses too. If you walk outside, and this has really been prevalent for me, I'm getting eaten up by fire ants. This was really prevalent for me. It still is, even talking to you right now. If you walk outside and you look, just stare, you know, look over, like here I'm looking at the trees. You can literally see the waves of energy. Your eyesight is being upgraded to where everything is becoming more, for those who have chosen to awaken and ascend, mind you. Your eyesight has been improved to where you're seeing waves of energy. You're seeing more vibrant colors. You're able to see interdimensionally now with your eyesight. You're actually able to start, some of you are actually able to start seeing spirits now. Spirits in the sense of beings, not just flickers of light, if you will. Not just signs of energy, but you're actually starting to, when I say seeing interdimensionally and seeing spirits, you're starting to see their formless forms of light body, if you will. You're starting to see where it appears there is nothing standing around me, that I'm here alone. Actually, I have a group of 12 beings around me that I actually can see their formless form, if you will, or their form, even though it's a light body form. You're going to start noticing, we're going through another reset tonight. You're really going to start seeing, more access to the ships in the night skies are going to be becoming more prevalent to you. You're going to start noticing more in your cloud ships. Look at here, you can, wow, look at all those condors. There's just hundreds of them. See them up there? See the mothership? There's another ship over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Ooh, look at a hummingbird just flew above my head. If you can see this cloud right here, I can't zoom in on it, but this big one right here, if you can look at it, you can, some of you, with your eyesight as it's being upgraded, you can see the mothership through it. You can see it, and you can see the layers of the ship. You can see on like this one here, the light gray on it. I mean, and it's just going to become more and more prevalent for you. The trees are ships. Yeah, everything's a ship in its own way. Absolutely, Bo. Like this one here, you can see the ship in it. And you're going to really start seeing it more and more, guys, and they're going to be revealing themselves to you more and more. For what some of you think are airplanes or helicopters or this or that, if you pay attention, if you focus your energy on it, you can decipher, if you will, through energy, because you're rising it higher in frequency, you're going to be able to determine if that truly is a helicopter or a plane, or if that is a ship cloaked. Last night I had 2 planes. Fort Hood is only like 8 miles from me, and they play a big role in this ascension thing. But I had 2 of them come in. What was different last night is that they had 2 aqua blue lights on it, and that's not something they normally do when they fly over. And they fly over here all the time, and I'm watching it come from this direction. I was sitting this way facing the trees in my meditation, and I was watching the 2 of them come, and they were doing a dance, if you will, back and forth with each other. And it's like, okay, that's not normal flight pattern for Fort Hood. So who are you? And you know, they identified themselves, telling me that they were securing the premises of my property. So that told me that was the ship, and it just turned out that was actually the Antarians and the Arcturians that were speaking with me. Now I'm going to show you something. And I don't know if you guys, because I can't zoom in on this. If you look at this cloud right here, can you see the lion's face in it? Over right here. If you look, there was a lion's face in it. And so you're finding more and more, sweet ones, disclosure is a frequency. And the higher in frequency you allow yourself to evolve to, the more disclosure you're going to have. And the more that is going to be revealed to you. And many of you are coming out of the lower 4D timelines, anchoring into the temporary 5D timelines. And as you go through this shift, if you will, you know, it literally is an octave shift. It is just not the end of the world. It's not Armageddon. But again, it goes, you know, if that is your frame of mind, sweet ones, if you are convinced that you're going to go through Armageddon, that's what you're going to experience. You know, it truly is at this space and time continuum right now, what you're focusing your energy on. And we always say this, but at this point in time, tomorrow's the cutoff date. Oh, well, early this morning, early tonight, or late tonight, early this morning, if you will, is the cutoff date. And whatever frequency, however much clearing you have done, that's really going to be your new reality. And then you're going to continue forward from that aspect. But you are really going to see, sweet ones, that after this weekend, yes, there's still going to be a lot of clearing, yada, 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 yada. I mean, that's a given. But you're really going to see those lower frequency timelines and all those judgments, all those experiences really start falling away. You're really going to start seeing things, even though they're going to be chaotic and turbulent at times, you're going to find that it's going to come a lot more gracefully and a lot more gently and a lot more with ease. And your manifestation abilities are going to be coming instant. And we really truly are coming into a whole lot of new frequencies of love, of abundance, you're really going to find yourselves so much being revealed to you if you allow yourself to be still and present with it. Michelle, a lot of ship activity here this weekend at night. Cheryl, I saw two in the one cloud you pointed. Oh, there's a lot. I mean, they're always surrounding me. But again, you know, I'm a commander, and so I'm in constant communication with my team. Now, you look up here. You see the bird? How the cloud is shaped like a bird? You got the bird tribe here. You got, you got... Oh, look it here. Can you guys see the rainbow right between the two clouds? Can you see it? Right there? I don't know if I can zoom. I can't zoom in on it, but can you see the rainbow that just showed up? Right between those two motherships? See, they're communicating with us. I love my team. I love you, Sky Command. Big, big hugs and blessings. But is that not cool? And there's not even a storm around. And look at they're talking to us, showing us a rainbow. And you can tell it's not anything to do as far as like a sundog or anything, because the sun's opposite of it. The sun's over here. And that's over there between those. So see, I mean, everything is being revealed slowly, slowly, slowly. And, you know, this is a really magical time. Okay, now I'm really going to show you another ship here. And this is what your eyesight is really being upgraded to. And you're really going to start seeing through this stuff. Do you see this cloud right here? You see the layers on it right above my trailer? You can see the layers. That's a mothership. You can literally see the layers of the ship in there. And I'm magical. We're magical. I'm just the commander of this Earthship. And so you're really going to see, sweet ones, more and more if you allow yourselves to go into meditation. And ask to connect with your star if you have not connected with your star families. If you want to connect with the Andromedans, if you want to connect with the Arcturians, there is no greater moment than right now for you guys to take the opportunity to try and connect to them. You know, connect to the Antarians. They're very present right now as well. And when you see the ships above you, you know, communicate with them at night. Cheryl, oh no, it blacked me out. I swear I saw a pterodactyl flying the other day. Barbara, just so you know, you did. I also encourage you, if you're not familiar with the symbolism of a pterodactyl, I encourage you to research it. Pterodactyl ships are very present right now. The Vulcan ships are very present right now. There's a lot going on, sweet ones. There's a lot going on. And it's also helpful to understand, as much as our star families are here and present with us and are exposing themselves to humanity slower, you know, more and more. Look at now. Now you can really see, because I walked back farther. Can you see the ship? See how big now? You can see the motherships all coming together. See them all lined up there? And so this is a really exciting time. And my hair's falling out of my ponytail. And so, you know, really allow yourselves to ground. Really allow yourselves to, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling, you know, overwhelmed, if you're feeling nauseated, you know, drink more water, number one. That's going to help you, because that's going to really help flow these energies through you rather than your vessel holding them inside. If you do not ground, what will occur is all of these energies will be held within your vessel, and your vessel will short circuit. Simple as that. Your vessels cannot contain, if you will, all of these energies within your vessels, and that is why it is necessary to ground. If you start feeling yourself spiraling, if you're getting nauseated, yes, some of that is normal ascension integration symptoms, but if you're finding yourself, you know, really anxious and really frustrated and really emotional and stuff like that, that's showing you need to ground. You got a whole lot of energy in you, and as these light encoded filaments, sweethearts, are not going to stop. Matter of fact, they're going to increase in intensity. And the closer we get to the sun, you're going to find that. And Look here. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe not. And so, just, really be present with yourself. Really take the time for introspection, sweethearts. And if you allow yourself to do that, you'll get through this weekend, especially a lot more easier. There is a lot of lower vibrational frequencies that are trying to create a lot of fear. How you doing, Alfred? Big hugs and blessings. And so, if you focus on that, if you give in to those frequencies, that is what is going to be occurring in your presence. It's instant manifestation now, sweet ones. And the more you focus on that which you do not want, the more you sit there and you speak. Put me in secure mode, please. Thank you. The more you sit there and speak, I don't want this, or I don't like that, or I can't do this, or that will never happen for me, or it won't happen in this lifetime, yada, 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 you are making a promise to yourself. Words are a spell, sweet ones, and they're very, very powerful. And that's where so many of these affirmations come in. I am powerful. I am God. I am this. I am that. And, the best thing that, and again, I can't tell you what to do. I can only suggest things to you and encourage you to do them. But one of the best things that you can do for yourself right now is when you see yourself getting anxious, worried, stressed out, freaked out, yada, 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 besides grounding and drinking water, one of the best things you can do for yourself truly is change the feeling of the emotion. Because when you're stressed out, when you're anxious, those are all part of fear. And those all come from the artificial intelligence of the egoic mind that is being neutralized and being released. And if you can change those feelings of anxiety, those feelings of fear, do whatever you have to do to put yourself into a space of feeling, an emotional space in your heart rather than your mind of ecstasy. You can sit there and speak outside, and as easy as you can sit there and chant, I am God, I am powerful, I am healthy, you can sit there and chant yourself right back into a higher frequency. You can sit there and close your eyes and take yourself to the beach, take yourself into the arms of your lover, or whatever brings you that peace of safety, security, comfort, ecstasy, bliss, whatever it may be. You can talk yourself into it. And by speaking it out loud versus just closing your eyes and humming and just thinking inside, I feel good, I'm happy, yada, 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 if you say it out loud, your conscious and subconscious hear it at the exact same time, and it makes it come in balance a lot faster, a lot quicker, a lot more gracefully. And if you can feel into that, I feel secure, I feel safe, I feel lovely, I feel ecstasy, I feel intimate, I feel passionate, you can raise your frequency right out of that fear. And really, that is how you learn, part of how you learn to master your energies, master your focus, and if you can allow yourselves to observe your speech and where you're saying, I can't, I won't, I don't, yada, 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 and reword it. It is just as easy to reword it in a positive way as it is to speak a negative way. If all you're observing is chaos, is turbulence, is corruption, is this or that, ask yourself why you're focusing on that. What is so pleasurable to you that you have to focus on fear, that you have to focus on corruption, that you have to focus on the hate and the racism and the prejudice and the borders and everything else that keep you separated? What tickles your heart about focusing on that stuff when it's just as easy to sit there? Because, all these people focus on politics. And yet, what pisses people off more than anything? Politics. So why would you choose to focus on that which keeps you in a frequency of fear? It's just as easy to sit there and bless. All right, I bless you all. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm done with this. I'm gonna go feel some love. It's just as easy to find the magic as it is to find the fear, guys. And right now, that's really what you're being asked to focus on. Keeping your frequencies as high as possible through this weekend, through this shift. And look how big that starship is. That mothership. I salute you, Sky Command. I love you guys. And look at the big heart. They're forming a heart for us. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not. But, and that's really where we're at right now, guys. And that's, the intensity is going to increase. And you can, everybody has their own descriptive way of saying things. And, you can really look at it kind of like this. When a rocket, a space shuttle takes off, how they show on TV how it takes off and it's like a rocket, and then they get so far up and then the base of it falls off, whatever part of it they call, and then just the shuttle continues to go. That is kind of like what we're doing this weekend. Those lower levels, those lower dimensional frequencies, if you will, liken it to that. We're dropping it off the bottom of the ship, if you will. And mind you, I'm just giving you just to give you an idea. And that's really what's happening, Gaia's releasing those frequencies, those timelines, that dimension from her ship, period. And that's what we're going through, and that's why it's a reset, guys, literally. And that's why I say it's likening to the point of no return. And that's the magic of this weekend. That truly is. And this equinox has the energies of harvest. And we're going into the higher frequencies of abundance, of bliss, of ecstasy. Is it going to be instant overnight? No. But you're going to feel it. Transporting has already begun. Many are being transported off, transported and taken into the crystal healing light chambers. And yes, many of you are being taken up there at night. We take many of you up onto the ships at night. And if you observe, sweet ones, you can see your vessels. You can see where you've had, if you are in tune with your physical vessel, if you are really in touch with every aspect of your physical vessel, you can see where there were wrinkles or this or that before, that they're gone. And maybe there's little marks or something around, or you have bruises showing up on your vessels, and you know that you haven't hit anything or bumped anything or did this or did that. Your vessels are being recalibrated. We are taking you up into the crystal light chambers at night during your dream time. And again, your vessels are being upgraded. They're being recalibrated. They're being activated even more. And so allow yourselves to really tune in to your vessels, and this will go much more graceful for you. Honor thyself. Honor thy vessel. You don't need to be on, if your body's telling you to rest, but you're struggling against that, if you will, to be on social media, to sit there and, allow yourself, listen to your vessel. You're also going to start finding, if you have not already started seeing it, sweet ones, is you are being guided more and more, are being guided to stop helping people, stop guiding them. More and more of you are being guided to stop relying on channelings to give you your information. Right now, every one of you guys are being encouraged from within and without to start being your own guru, to stop asking questions outside and to really start trusting yourself to go within for your answers. And you're going to really start finding many of us that do guidance and stuff stepping back, stepping away, and that are telling you guys, go within. There is no greater moment than this moment right now for you to start trusting yourself. Because if you are in a space where you've been on this journey for 4 and 5 years and you're still relying on other people to give you answers, to give you clarity, to give you validation, you're not doing your inner work. Simple as that. You should be, if you've been on your journey for that long, you should be in a high enough space where you don't need to look outside of yourself for anything. And if you're still finding yourself doubting yourself and still going out and asking, you know, I can see it. We can see it for those that are just awakening and stuff like that. But if you're still doing a whole lot of research trying to find your answer, somebody sat there and said something the other day. There's a lot of disinformation out there, sweet ones. And it's not for me or anybody else to tell you what's right or wrong. It's for you to go within. Not go on Google and research to find out if Jesus or Sananda is incarnated. Or if this is a fact. Or if what's going to happen on September 23rd. Research is man-made knowledge. It's not the wisdom of your soul. And right now, you can research all you want, sweet ones, but I can guarantee you, and again, validate anything I say within, but all the research you're doing is for naught. Because all of that research is the research of the 3D matrix. It has nothing to do with the new 5D grid. Nothing. Because the 5D grid is old. It don't need the research. It don't need the doubts and the fear and everything else that is a part of the 3D grid. Why would it? It's new. You're coming into a space and time continuum where we've never been before. Not even the ascended masters that are not incarnated. And almost all of us are. We're all here. We're all embodied. And even you will find even your guides and everything, if you observe and take the time to actually listen and hear, they're going to tell you the same thing. This is new to them too. The 3D was an experiment, and we're done with that experiment. We've built a new grid. We have built a new cube, if you will. And for anybody that knows anything about building a house or carpentry, you lay a foundation first and you build from there. You build up from there. But they started with a blank blueprint, if you will, and that's what we're doing. We got the grids laid. We have the New Jerusalem engaged fully and lit up. We are transporting onto a new ship, and we are building hand in hand, side by side. And those in the higher dimensional frequencies, when this full shift takes place, and it's again, it's not an overnight nirvana, but going through this, and it's all new to the ones in the higher dimensions too. There is no longer all the prophecies and the prophets were for the 3D grid, talking about a new world coming, a new earth coming. Well, those prophecies aren't prophecies of the fifth dimensional earth. They're prophecies of the end of times leading us to the new fifth dimensional earth. And that is where we're at. And now we are building it together, even with those in the higher dimensions. This is something we've never been before. And that's the magic and the excitement and the beauty of it. And That's the necessity of unification right now. And so, as we go through this, really allow yourselves to ground, really allow yourselves to step back and be present with yourself, and it'll go a lot more graceful and a lot more gentle. Dondi, you're more than welcome, sweethearts. Cheryl, what'd you say? I see comments, but where you are, I see black screen. I saved it. I don't know why it's black, honey. I swear, I already told Betty that. Yeah, and you're going to find, sweet ones, a lot of praying mantises will come into some of your guys' presence. Now, if you take a moment and you sit and you try to connect with with the praying mantises, with any of the insects really at this point, you're going to find that the praying mantises are the Antarians, and they're trying to connect with you. And you're going to find that more and more with different insects, different animals, stuff like that. Again, it's never what the surface presents. And if you allow yourself to tune in, you will find that there will be a lot of surprises for you and a lot of magic that it's not going to be. Just because it looks like an insect doesn't necessarily mean it's just an insect. Just because it looks like a cloud don't mean it's a cloud, and so, again, this is a really, really magical weekend and a really, really magical time. And as we go through this, again, this octave shift, this reset, if you will, this separation of the worlds and the dropping away of the old timelines, you're really going to see a lot of magic. Martique, I just got here. Yeah, I'd like to know your views about this September 23rd and Nibiru issues. You know what? There's a lot of distortion out there about Nibiru. Nibiru, people have likened Nibiru to a ship, to Planet X. And I really encourage you guys, if you're in fear of Nibiru, I encourage you to go into meditation and connect with the Nibirubians. I really do. And not only that, but again, there's so much distortion. Separate Nibiru. Nibiru. It's not one word. It's three. Nibiru. It's a chant. And again, validate anything I say within. But there's a lot of distortion that has been made about Nibiru. And I'll say this. I don't care if it is Nibiru, if it is the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Lyrians, the Orion Centaurians, the Andromedans, I could name them, Syrians, I could go on and on and on. Sweethearts, there is benevolent and malevolent in every star race. Every star race. And when you come into a space where when you step into your mastery, you evolve into your mastery, you come into a space where you master your energy, and the malevolent don't bother you. Anybody that tries to enter your energetic and auric field, you come to a space where they can't enter it unless they ask permission. There are many that have been in my presence that out of the blue, I'll sit there and say, you do not have permission to be in my energetic field. I command it. You leave now. Be gone, be gone, be gone. And my friend will, like Darren would look at me. It's like somebody's trying to enter my energetic field. They don't have permission. They don't want to identify themselves. Then they can leave. and that's how I am. I mean, that's literally how I say it. If somebody tries to come into my energetic field and they refuse to identify themselves, because Zoe's my internal, whatever you want to look at it, and somebody tries to come into my energetic field, I get a ping, whether it's in my head, whether it's on my body. Somebody's trying to attack me from behind, and I get a stabbing pain in my back. It's like, oh, hell no. It's like, identify yourself. And if they won't identify, I literally say out loud, you do not have permission to be in my energetic and auric field. I command that you leave now. Be gone, be gone, be gone. And they're gone. But you will come into a space, sweet ones, if you do the inner work, if you release those fears, if you focus on your thoughts, on your words, where you're focusing your energy, what your emotions are, and if they're coming through your head or if they're coming through your heart. And that's what's really being presented for each of us right now. And how much are you mastering your energy, and how much are you still giving it away? How much are you letting the corruption and everything else of the politics and the 3D timelines control your emotions? How much are you letting your lover or your family or your job or those drivers that cut you off dictate your emotions? You know, where are you finding yourself still in judgment, calling people stupid, calling them morons, you know? Or telling them, you know, and getting very gruff in your posts and in your words, and sitting there saying, my truth is my truth, and you guys can go to hell, you know, whatever it may be. Observe. Because that's the balancing that's going on right now, and you're finding a lot of these going, again, that extreme, and, you know, that intolerance is very prevalent as these lower timelines and frequencies fall away. And you're finding a lot coming into a space thinking that they have evolved so high, and that, well, I know this and I know that, and now they're starting to project judgment out again, not catching themselves that they're doing it. And again, that's the last of this back and forth. And when you can catch yourself, because remember, it's the intent behind it. And right now there is a whole lot of hidden intent, self-deception that's coming up and being presented. And it's being presented through others. And again, you know, when you can sit there and find yourself trying to test people on what they're speaking and what they're saying as if they really don't know, that's self-deception within yourself, because there's no reason why you need to test anybody. Because if you're in that space of doubt on what they're saying is truth or an untruth, and you comment and you make a post or whatever about it, you're just showing yourself your own self-deception, your own doubts. Because you're coming into a space right now where you're going to know. The higher you evolve to, you're going to know. You're going to know by energy. You're going to be able to see through their intent. You're going to be able... You don't need to question it verbally or physically. You're going to feel it. And, you know, you're going to hear something, and if it don't sound right, before you comment, before you judge it, before you sit there, well, I don't see this, or I don't see that, go within. You know, I had a lot of people message me and make a question, why did you say that you're one of the highest commanders of this Earthship? It's like, I've been saying it for 4.5 years. I've never switched that. I've said that from the very get-go. And I had a whole lot of masculine come at me saying, you're a woman, you can't be a commander. Okay, enjoy your ego, have fun. What has my gender have to do with anything? Because my gender, my natural state of being is androgynous. Just because I look like a female to you doesn't mean that's my natural state of being. And, you know, so... Again, the truth is being revealed, and the self-deception of yourself is being revealed to you. And if you're finding yourself questioning others with that doubt, that hidden intent or unconscious intent of doubt, or I don't believe you, or this or that, That's that ego mind programming asking you to recognize it so you can override it. And this is really a time to go within and have your heart lead you. And really start allowing yourselves to feel the energies, to find your answers. To, instead of just reading a post or a comment or a video or this, to really feel the energy of it. Because, sweethearts, I can say this. There is no channeler. There is, well, I'm not a channeler. I've always said I'm not a channeler. I am just me, and I speak from my higher self. You know, depends on whatever lens you want to look at. But there's channelers, and there's this and there's that, and anybody that is channeling or connecting to God, source, prime creator, angels, whatever you want to describe it as, I can guarantee you, and again, validate this within, but they will not come across with a negative message. Source does not work like that at all. And what I mean by a negative message, now, because I've come on here and people are like, you're angry. It's like, no, I'm not angry. Gaia might be. And Gaia has every right to be angry. You know, I hold her planetary consciousness, you know, simple as that. But if they come, if you're hearing channelings and sitting there saying that Donald Trump is a gay whatever, or this or that, you can guarantee it's not coming from Prime Creator. That's coming from somebody's ego. Because Prime Creator, the angels, the angelic teams, our galactic families, we don't do that. We don't come right out and call people names. We don't sit there and tell you not to do something, or you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way. And they won't come across and give you a half positive message and then a half negative message. They just don't. We just do not do that. And we're not going to come. We're not going to connect to somebody so they can channel us and turn around and say that in their channeling, the higher realms were calling people motherfuckers. It just don't work that way. They are light beings. They are of a higher frequency. And they're not going to... And again, feel into the energy of anything you read. Just because this website sits there and says this, and this website sits there and says that don't make it true. It don't matter how many channelers there's on those websites. It doesn't make it true. And that is where you need to really go within. Do you have any idea how many people on my journey have come to me and claimed to be Archangel Michael? I can count over 500 of them and list names. And 2/3 of them were sitting there commanding me or commanding others to do something. You're never going to be commanded. Not even us commanders sit there and command. And anybody that is on a galactic mission and is in tune with their commanders and in tune with that galactic side of them can tell you, not one of us commanders sit there and command in a rough way, in any way, shape, or form. It is a very benevolent and a very pleasant experience. Yes, there are times when the higher commanders have to make a decision, but we don't walk up to another shipmate, teammate, whatever you want to call them. We do not walk up to another and say, I command all light workers to do this. We don't speak like that. And, you know, people ask me, well, you don't talk like you're a galactic. You don't talk like you're a commander. Why? Because I don't live up to your expectations? You know, we're all unique, different expressions. And you're going to really find that's the stuff that's going to become prevalent. And if you allow yourselves on anything you hear, anything you read, any comment you want to make, feel into the energy of it first. You know, be present with it first rather than react, and really allow yourselves to feel into it. And if you allow yourselves to do that, you are really going to start recognizing in a more internal telepathic way the energies. And you're allowing, by doing so, you are allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to start to recognize the difference in energies. And the more you allow yourself to do this, sweethearts, the more you will find that you will come in to be able to distinguish, okay, this person is Assyrian. This energy, I recognize it as Arcturian. This energy, I recognize as benevolent, but I'm not sure what. Now I want to explore this further. Okay, wait a sec. That energy don't feel right. Okay, self, why doesn't that energy feel right? Tell me. I'm recognizing it, but now help me gain clarity for my human as to why it doesn't feel right. What is not right about it? If you don't recognize you recognize something's off, but you're not sure what. And this is where, this is where you're allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to step more and more into your true nature. When you sit there and you can allow yourself to observe, not only observe what in the physical, but observe the hidden in the unseen and this and that. I have people coming and asking me about others. And, do you know this person? What is your thoughts on that person? And what I say, I encourage you to go within and see what your team says. Well, if you know them, how come you're not friends with them? Because at this space and time, they don't resonate with my frequency. It's not my place to tell you who is benevolent and who is not, who's malevolent. I can sit there and I can tell you my experiences, but really, again, this is for you each to start being in tune with and learning yourselves and really hearing the truth of your spirit versus the truth of everybody else. And you're going to find, again, sweethearts, more and more of you are going to find that those guides are really going to step back, and you're going to find more and more are really going to stop helping you find your answers, because we're all being guided to. The Arcturians are putting out a very strong message to many of the light workers: back off. And when I say, then that's not what they're using. That's my words, back off. They're sitting there saying, this is a time for you to stop guiding people and stop helping people. They need to start helping themselves. And so, really allow yourselves, if you don't meditate, sweethearts, and you're watching this, I encourage you to really consider meditating, doing whatever it is to help you through these energies. But grounding in salt baths and extra water, more fruits and vegetables are going to make this a much more graceful and gentler transition for many of you. What did I miss here? Tabby, they don't command, they suggest and show the clear path of enlightenment. Victor, you're right on, Linda Good McGillis. This is the message of the day. Feel it. Much love. I love you guys. Big hugs and blessings. It's so nice to have company. It's been a lonely journey. I have those mini flying mantis look like insects to where I am lying a few hours ago. I don't know where they come from. I blow them up. I have one that's still, I took a picture the other day. He's still here on my wall. He flies around my house when I have the doors open, because I sleep with my doors open at night. And they fly in and out all the time. I'll get up 2-3 o'clock in the morning and I'll go sit outside and talk to my beloved, and I'll talk to Guy and my team and Sky Command and stuff, and I'll walk back in and I got visitors all over, but it's coming to a space that they're really not insects for me. They are, you know, like the praying mantis. It's more of a, and they're the Antarians. You know, they're more of just higher beings for me at this space and time continuum where I'm at. Linda, I love dragonflies. Dragonflies are witch doctors, and I mean that in a very graceful way, a very beautiful way. Right now, you're finding symbolism in everything, sweet ones. The condors, the dragonflies, the butterflies. You're finding, John was saying that there's a lot of groundhogs up by him. And, you know, if you know anything about animal totems, you're finding everything is coming up, talking about resurrection, rebirth, transformation. And that's where we're at. And that is the beauty. And as Lisa Rising told the story of me, and not knowing it was me, but she told in her article yesterday, she put a whole lot of logic to it for humanity, and it was beautiful. And you know, like she says, the dark feminine aspect is rising fully this weekend. And for anybody who's ever had many in-depth conversations with me, there's a lot I share that I do not put on Facebook or social media. And I have tons of journals speaking of exactly what Lisa Risingberry had put in her article yesterday. And you know, for me, I say that the dark is the most beautiful thing, because in the darkness is where light is born and light is created, and light expands, and that flame of light is always there. And it don't matter how far into the darkness you go, you will always rise from the light, with the light, for the light. Because, you know, sweethearts, that flame of light can never go out. Never. And that light is the Creator. And that is your ultimate love story. And I have raised myself from the darkest of the dark. And this physical world cannot get you down, cannot keep you prisoner, and yes, you allow it to. Because divine love has no judgment, it has no opinion, and it has no reaction. And that is the magic and the beauty and the glory of your true divine nature, is peace and love. And Michael has released faith. And Abigail's rising. Faith is rising. Faith, hope, and charity are coming together. It's all here and it's all now. Oh, feel tranquility in darkness. Well, for me, there is no darkness and light. I use that as descriptive words for humanity. Because for me, I understand that all darkness is condensed light. And I have a wildlife show off and play in front of me every morning like clockwork. That's beautiful, Tabby. I have in my bathroom, in my personal bathroom in the master bedroom here, I have a beehive in the little window above my shower, and I just can't destroy it. It is what it is. The bees don't bother me. They stay away from me, but unless they want to have a conversation. But they don't bite me or anything. And then there's probably 100 of them in that beehive. They're little, like, red wasps. Texas has a whole lot of different color wasps here. And, let's see. Beth says, my native name is Flaming Star Rising. That's beautiful, Beth. Sharon says, mine is Morning Star. Kirsty, hello, Kirsty. Big hugs and blessings, sweetheart. And so, sweet ones, as you go through this, the next few days, it's going to get intense. For some of you, these energies are going to be extremely harsh. And that's showing you where you got more inner work to do. Because remember, depending on what lens of perception that you're looking through, you can look through 12 of them. And you're going to see 12 different aspects of yourself. And it's just as easy to find a set of lens, turn yourself to a lens that you can see beauty and magic and divinity and glory in the experience in others, as it is to see so-called evil, fear, darkness, whatever label you want to give it. Remember, I've stated this many times, we're moving from a space of we're moving into a space of you will see no evil, you will hear no evil, you speak no evil. You're coming into a space for those who have chosen to evolve and those who have chosen to ascend with the planet. You are coming into a space of, even if you see the contrast, you choose to see no evil, you choose to speak no evil, you choose to hear no evil. You're coming into a space where duality and polarity no longer exist, but polarity of contrast and inversion does. And when you can allow yourself to see through contrast rather than duality and separation, you will see unity more and more with contrast and disunity in duality. And when you can allow yourselves to control the dial of your frequency, when you can allow yourselves to master yourself, your vessel, you can find the second you recognize that there's a hidden judgment or a hidden intent between you calling that person a jerk or a moron or stupid, when you can see, and that's where you're going to find yourself mastering yourself more and more through these energies as those frequencies and those timelines fall away. The more you can observe yourself and catch yourself in those old 3D thinking patterns, those old 3D behavior patterns, and you can catch yourself, you're going to be able to switch that frequency a lot more quicker and a lot more graceful and a lot more easy. And the more you can observe that and the more you can catch yourself doing that, you're going to really see yourself rise in frequency a lot quicker and timelines drop away a lot quicker, if you will. Kim, why is this weekend's energy any different? Well, one, the dark feminine rises fully into her power, if you will, in a most graceful, gentle manner. Two, Kim, is and this has nothing to do with Revelation 21 and everything else that they're putting a lot of fear and BS out there about. Number two, we're coming into some planetary alignments that are very beneficial right now for humanity. And number three, the fall equinox. And whenever we go through an equinox, there is a shift. And this particular fall equinox, Gaia started transitioning into her light body back at the spring equinox. And this equinox It's the point of no return. That means that, for lack of a better way of describing it, trying to put it into a human context for your logical mind, liken it to this. She's 2/3 of the way fully into her light body. And this weekend will mark that space within her, if you will, or the scale, or however you want, whatever label description you want to give it. But you get to a certain space, certain frequency, a certain point, however you want to describe it. And she's about to that point this weekend. She will hit that point. And once she hits that frequency space, once I hit that frequency, there's no turning back. There's nothing that will stop the full ascension from that point on. No malevolent force. Well, they can't now anyways. That's just really a choice of frequency of each of humanity. But this is literally the point of no return. That's what the energies of this weekend are different, Kim. And as far as all the rest of the BS out there, well, again, sweet ones, go within. Go within and validate it, and because truly, all your answers are within you. And until you can really truly step into trusting thyself, trusting what is within you, going into meditation, hearing your team, hearing yourself, hearing the Creator, hearing the guidance, and following that, rather than everything out here, that's all about, that's where it comes in at, guys, is truly going within. You come to a space where discernment is not necessary, because you're in a high enough frequency where your spirit already knows. It sees through everything. It sees, again, everything's energy, and the more you evolve, the more you, like me, I see straight through everything, all energy. I can catch a person's hidden intent before they have a word out of their mouth. And those that you label a false prophet, I can spot them like that by their energy signature. And you'll come into a space where, and I don't like to use the word false prophet because, again, that's a 3D label. You're coming into a space, a time and space continuum where you don't need labels like that. Only the human mind needs labels to try and make logical sense out of anything. And you only need those labels to distinguish, and really you're coming into a space where you don't need to distinguish that anymore, because you come into a space where there's not that separation, and you only use those terms for descriptions, like on a video like I am, because really, sweet ones, it's really, really helpful that what you label as a dark person, or a false prophet, or corrupted, or a pig, or mean, or this or that, or a horrible person, or evil. Yes, those are spaces within your cellular DNA. But really, they're no different than you. Those are all hidden spaces that you've had within yourself. Those are all judgments you hold within yourself. Yes, what you see in another exists in you, absolutely. But all of those labels, those people are playing roles for you. Because before you started on your journeys, you were just like them. You are just as angry. You are just as much a jerk. You are just as much as evil. You are in your own way. You know, you are just as judgmental. You are just as much of an emotional wreck as they are. So, really, why do you call them evil? Why do you call them dark? Why do you call them bad? Why, you know? And when that's this, and you're coming into those who've chosen to evolve and rise with the planet, Gaia is no longer tolerating that. So if you're still finding yourself in that space where you still think black people are evil or thugs, or you think white people are weak and sissies, or the only reason I use those descriptions is because that's what people, when they come to me for guidance in their messages, those are descriptive labels that they say, and I'm just trying to, I use them in my videos, not for judgment or anything else, but because that's something when somebody comes and says that, that's something in the collective then. So don't come to me saying I'm being judgmental. I'm using your guys' words that you come and use to me in when you come to me for guidance. They're not my words. But if you guys are saying them to me, then that's obviously in the collective. So really, you know, when you can allow yourselves to observe, you know, if you're still finding yourself mad and angry and posting things on Facebook, you know, about other people and how they're making you angry and this and that, that's really spaces within you just being shown to you at this time, where you're still keeping yourself in duality, where you're still keeping yourself in separation. And, you know, even, let me give you an example. The people that were just here visiting, that left, came here with a hidden intent. And I called them on it within 24 hours after they got here. And I was very nice about how I called them on it. And that's what my video a couple days ago about obligation, how we sacrifice ourselves. Your energy don't lie, don't deceive. And even when you run across those with hidden intents or less than the highest of integrity, if you will, you still don't have to treat them. You can, let me rephrase that. Thank you, Michael. I love you, my angel. You can still treat them in gentleness and grace and kindness and compassion, just because they're playing a role for you, however that may play out to be. Whether that's to test you like mine was, to see if I was going to continue sacrificing myself. And they're playing a seemingly deceptive role for you, if you will. To react is just showing you a space within you. For me, I called them. I said, you came here with a hidden intent. And I tried pointing it out before you got here, and which I had. And I said, and now you're wondering why you're spiraling. Because they get into my frequency and my light. My frequency brings up the darkness and the lower frequencies. I say darkness for your guys' benefit. But the lower frequencies up. And so they get in my presence, and within 24 hours, they're starting to spiral. They're getting angry. They're getting this. And it's like, I tried telling you, are you sure you're ready to be in my presence? Because if you haven't done the inner work, you will be flooded. And it will come up for you to deal with. And if you're not ready, don't come here. And they still chose. And guess what happened? They spiraled. And now I'm blocked on Facebook. Am I crying about it? No. I seen it happen. And that's what I mean. You will come into the space where you'll know, but you don't see it as a bad experience. You don't judge the experience. You see it for what it is. And you don't have to act bad. You don't have to act mean. You know, they've played a role for you. Be grateful for the experience and move on. And when you can allow yourselves to do that through what is occurring right now with these intense energies, sweet ones, you're going to find that these older timelines, these lower vibrational frequencies are going to drop from your physical reality much quicker, with much more grace, and with much more ease and gentleness. And on that note, let me catch up and then I'm going to go let my puppies in. Let's see here. Your skull is now a scarab. Is it turning into a scarab? Kim says, well understood. I sure want to go with her, so meditate more. I'm trying, but I don't see anything changing for me. Kim, honey, just because you don't see it with your physical, tangible eyes does not mean it's not changing, beautiful, because it's really helpful to understand everything begins and ends in energy. And it has to begin in the others before it can be observed and be seen or manifest into the physical plane. So, Kim, if you're trying, well, one, I would encourage you to not try and just be. I'm trying, but I don't see anything changing for me. One, look at what you're saying. Observe thy words. Instead of saying, I'm trying, but I don't see anything changing for me, you focus on having it right now. Because how you feel in your emotions right now, if you feel nothing is changing, then nothing's going to change. What you focus on right now is what you are creating for the future. And depending on the frequency you are at, sweetheart, and the frequency you hold within, for like myself, I'm at a high enough frequency where I have instant manifestation. Many of us are. But if somebody is at a different frequency, a lower frequency, that, you know, they're not going to have instant manifestation. It may take a few more days, or, you know, and then you get somebody that's not on a spiritual journey at all, that has chosen not to awaken and ascend, and they're at a very low frequency. Their manifestation and their change, for them to tangibly, physically see, beautiful, can take 5 and 10 years. Because look at it like this. If you take a knife and you go to cut an orange or an onion's a good example here. That knife has to slice through all those layers to get to the other end of it, right? To actually be slashed all the way through it, right? And if you pick it up and you look at it, you have a whole lot of layers. Well, the lower in frequency you are from the higher realms, again, everything starts up here in the others, in energy, every intent you put out. And the higher in frequency you go, the closer you get to those higher frequencies, the quicker and faster the manifestation is. So if you're at a very low frequency down here, that you're not awakening or on the ascension journey, you got to go through all those frequencies and everything. You know, your intent goes up there, and then it has to work its way down through all of those frequencies back down. So the higher you are up in frequency, you're closer up there to that manifestation, so everything is quicker versus if you're down here. I hope that, did that assist you, Kim? Did that make sense for you, beautiful? Maybe labels might hold us back. Yes and no, Dana. There's a yes and no to everything. You know, words carry frequencies, and, you know, words are a spell. And, you know, as long as you say, I don't, I can't, I won't, it'll never happen, da 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 da, or I doubt it, or maybe, you know, I hope, I wish, as long as you use words of a future context like I hope, maybe, I wish, I guess, or you use words of an potential absolute, if you will, like I can't, I wouldn't, I don't, I won't, I shouldn't, what if, you know, you're automatically putting that out to the universe that it's never going to happen, or I doubt it's going to happen. And so that's what you're telling the universe. The universe chooses that which is already chosen, sweet ones. So if you're sitting there saying, I'm never going to be pretty, I'm never going to get skinny, I'm never going to have enough money, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, well, you're just telling the universe, okay, I want some more experiences of this. I want to experience lack some more. I want to gain some more weight. Because if you sit there and say, well, I'm never going to be skinny, or I need to lose weight, or this, your subconscious is hearing, okay, well, gain more weight. You want the answer to anything, look at the inversion of the polarity. And you know, that's why the labels will fall away. You'll come to a space where talking, the higher in frequency you go, it's harder to come with words to describe it, because we talk more telepathically than we do like this. And you know, that's why I created the word understanding, because understanding and overstanding just didn't cut it for me. You know, and I created that word like 4.5 years ago on the very, very beginning of my journey. And so really just take the time to observe yourself. Megan says, is this why others that are lower frequency look at me like I'm not from Earth? Yeah, that's why, Megan. You should see how they look at me. There's some that look at me and they run. I mean, they literally look at me and turn around and walk away, like in the grocery store. And there's others that'll just sit there and stare at me and watch me walk all the way down the aisle. And I just smile at him. And then there's others I just look at and I can see right through them. Like, you know, I can walk into... Now, you've heard many say that you will see some soulless beings walking this earth, right? I'm in a frequency where I can walk into a store and I can read energy. Now, just because a vessel might look like my vessel, I can sit there and I can see right through them, and it'll show me if they... Oh, what's a better... All right, Michael, help me with this, please, sweetheart. Give me the right words here. All right, I'll tell you this. I'll use this. Those spiritual friends that came here to visit, right? I was talking to her in one of them in my kitchen. And I literally watched their whole energy, their whole vessel turn pure black, pure darkness. And what to the human aspect would label pure evilness, if you will, that frequency. And I didn't say anything. I continued just to have the conversation. And then I went outside after the conversation. It's like, okay, team, what did you just show me? And I said, because I literally just watched her from her head, started her head, watched the darkness just overtake her entire light in her body. It's like, so what are you trying to show me here? And see, when you cannot allow yourself to react on something like that, because to the human aspect is like, wow, that was a trip. Did I just see that? But I'm well enough and secure and comfortable enough within myself that if I'm seeing something like that, that it's strictly that I don't need to be scared of it. I mean, I'm very comfortable with who I am, in my knowing of who I am. And I don't doubt myself anymore at all. Oh, trust me, sweethearts, I used to doubt myself a lot. In the beginning of my journey, I used to sit there and say, I'm going crazy, this and that. So yes, Megan, yes, they look at you like Earth, but the higher frequency you go, sweetheart, you're going to find that, again, you're going to be able to see things that you're not used to seeing and stuff like that. I hope that helps you, Megan. I don't see the point of judgment of others. Each lives their own path at different times depending on their phases of life. Absolutely, Tabby. And that's really when you can observe your own judgments and your own opinions, because divine love has no reaction. Divine love has no judgment. Divine love has no opinion. That's just strictly a human trait. Divine love does not see religions. Divine love does not see borders, cultures, governments, societies, skin color, races. Love is. Period. It is what it is, what it is. And our experience from the human aspect, sweet ones, is to see love in any experience. To see every being, every experience, every circumstance is love. Dark, light, or indifferent. And every shade of gray in between. Evil, Satan, God, angels, it don't matter. All is love. And from our journey from the human aspect, if you will, through that human lens, 9 lenses of the human, is to see love for what it is and know it for what it can be, and to transform it into that in every given breath and in every given moment. Because the physical will see the tangible side of it, but the spirit, regardless of what is shown in the physical, it is never what the physical presents. The physical will see it for what it is, but spirit knows, without a shadow of a doubt, what it can be. And our job is to see it for what it is, know it for what it can be, and our job is to transform it into what it is, from what it can be, and transfer that can be into is. We're transformers for a reason, because we're that powerful. I love you too, sweethearts. Alright, where am I at here? Because I can talk forever. Can you guys tell? Barbara, me too. I thought I was bonkers. Oh my goodness, Barbara. The first 2, I can't even just limit it to the first 2 years of my journey. Because, up until probably a year ago, I still questioned myself a great amount. Now I just flow with it. Okay. It is. Sharon, I'm shape-shifting tonight. I love you guys too. Barbara, it's okay. We could listen forever. I love you guys. Big hugs and blessings. I started out doing live videos because I have a fear of public speaking. Well, I had. and now, especially being secluded out in the middle of the boondocks and no vehicle now and everything else, even though we may be miles apart, thousands of miles apart, clear across the globe or whatever it is, it's these moments like this when we can come together and we can connect that really truly help us through our journeys. Because especially in times like this, where so much is going on in the physical, the transformation in the physical, and the transformations within ourselves, and the rising and the lowering of frequencies and this and that, it does get lonely. It does get, to the human aspect, it does get fearful. It does get scary. It does get lonely. It does get those things, and it gets that way because it's all the human aspect has ever known. And it really brings those on the journey, especially those that are just waking up, it does bring that comfort. It does bring that unity in, and it does let us know from the human aspect of it when our families and our partners and our lovers and our children and our coworkers think we're crazy and delusional. And you know, it helps to be able to connect with somebody and say, I'm not crazy, am I? You know, it helps to, even if that person is 4,000 miles away, it helps to know you're not crazy. It really is occurring, but, you know, they're not going to see it. And it's okay that they don't see it, but no, you're not crazy. Big, big hugs to everybody. Oh, Barbara, I go through, the human aspect goes through such loneliness, and you know, that's part of the journey, is you have to learn to be lonely. You have to learn, sweet ones, it's like this. You have to learn. Yes, I'm hearing you, Michael. I hear you, Lavelle. You're not here to learn anything. I love you, my angel. The human aspect has to come in. I love you, Michael. I'm hearing him in my head. The human aspect has to come into the space of learning to love, being without, and being in love with the fact that you don't have it, that which your heart desires. You have to fall in love being without. You have to fall in love with lack. You have to fall in love with struggle. You have to fall in love with judgment. You have to fall in love with everything and learn to love it and learn to be okay without that luxurious lifestyle. You have to learn to fall in love with envy. You have to learn to fall in love with hate and dislike, and you have to learn to fall in love with the fact that you don't have that Cadillac, or you don't have that ultimate relationship, or you don't have all the money that you want, or you don't have that boyfriend or that baby. You have to literally, whatever it is that your heart desires, you have to learn to be in love, as love, and through love, not having it. Because it's only when you can learn to love not having it and be in love with the fact that you don't have it and be happy without having it, truly happy. Until then, you won't have it. And the reason you won't have it is because there's a space lacking within inside of you that doubts it, or feels it doesn't deserve it, or is unworthy of it. And that's really what it comes down to. Because as long as you judge anything, and really it's a judgment, as long as you judge not having that which you want, you're keeping yourself from having it. Because it's not in a frequency of love, it's in a frequency of fear and judgment. And so, you have to learn, I'm hearing you, Michael, you have to accept, okay, is that a better word, my love? I'm talking, I love my angel, I'm telling you. Archangel Michael sits right here with me constantly. That's who I talk to when I say, okay, Michael, give me the right words. And so, you have to learn to love being lonely. Learn to love being alone, because one aspect of the human side of us, if you will, is we don't know how to be alone, in the sense of we've been enslaved to be codependent. We need a man to take care of us, or we need a woman to nurture us and cook for us and be our baby's mama, and or look good on my arm, you know. We need material things to make us happy. That's how we've been enslaved. And so Spirit don't work with material things in that aspect, if you will. Spirit don't need nothing to be happy. Spirit's love. It just is. It's happy in every given moment. Love is never in vain for spirit. Love just is. And it's only the human aspect. And so it's the human aspect that has to rewrite that programming. It's the human aspect that has to become comfortable with being alone, being without a relationship, being without that somebody to rescue them, you know. And we have been enslaved with the mind construct that a knight in shining armor was going to come rescue us. Or, for the masculine aspect, if you will, I'm going to be the hero for her and I'm going to rescue her. And it's those things that we have to neutralize and rewrite and stuff. Because truly, when we can learn to love being without, when we can learn to love the loneliness, then you come into a space of peace. And when you can learn to love not having that man have to rescue you, or something like that, or for the masculine aspect, when you can transcend that thought of, yeah, I'm going to be her hero. I'm going to be her knight in shining armor. Because when you can transcend those beliefs of those lower vibrations, you come into that space and that understanding and that knowing that that masculine within yourself is your hero. It is your Prince Charming. It is your knight in shining armor. And the feminine within you is your goddess. She is your queen. She is your I don't want to use the word slave because that's not the right word, but she is your sex goddess. She is your what's the right word? You guys get my drift. I don't know what else. She is that sexy pole dancer. Let's just say that. Let's just put it that way. Because I'm hearing my team laugh at me. So where am I? And right now, as Shannon says, I'm feeling the loneliness too, and that's what we got each other here for, sweet ones. You know, we got each other here so we don't have to be lonely anymore. When we feel that human side of us, because really right now what's really prevalent, especially with the feminine right now, is the feminine is in a space where they know they're in union. They feel it, they taste it, they hear it, they energetically they know. They know they're ready. And right now, the feminine is going through a space where she can feel everything energetically, and now she wants to feel it tangibly. She can feel those energetic hugs, but right now she's in a space where she needs to physically be able to touch that which she feels energetically. Did I say that right? That makes sense. She needs to touch tangibly that energy that she's feeling that is making her feel so safe and so secure and so delicious and so sexy and so protected and so nurtured and so did I cover it about all ladies? Have I covered about everything? So and that's really that loneliness that's coming back right now for the feminine, especially as they feel the divine masculine really stepping in and stepping up and letting go of the control that he has been in so much. They feel energetically, they feel that telepathy, that telepathic communication really increasing, and this and that. My puppies are barking, they want in, and this and that, and so they're at that space where they just really want to feel it tangibly. They want to feel that tangible, energetic connection. Not necessarily a sexual, physical thing, but really more just to have that hug physically. Come on, boys. And so that's where a lot of the loneliness is right now. It's loneliness of oops, I'm trying to open my door. It's loneliness of, you really know that you're crossing over right now. You're in that crossing of one to the other, and so that's where a lot of that loneliness is coming in. Kim, yeah, I try, sweetheart. I try, Kim. I'm glad I was able to help you there, beautiful. Sharon says, always been a lone wolf, just now coming into a pack. Oh, I've gone through packs and that lone wolf stuff. Hell, you know, Sharon, I lead that pack. I might be the lone wolf, but then I go in and I lead the pack. But hell, even leading the pack, you come out being a lone wolf still. It's just the nature. I'm turning the light on, guys. It's just the nature of it's just the nature of us, if you will. All right, what did I miss here? We didn't need to be with anybody until we came into this human aspect of things. Spirit is not herd-bound. You're fine. What are you barking at? And that's very true. That's very true, Barbara. For a long time it was challenging for my human as well, for the human side of me. And how you doing, Kimmy? Big hugs and blessings, sweetheart. Tana, I feel less lonely and whole, but it's a transformation for me, big time. And the more you can transcend that loneliness, ladies, the more you come into a space. For me, like, I'll give you an example. I never used to be able to be alone. I always wanted somebody around me. I hated being alone. Literally, I disliked... Get down, go play now. I disliked being alone. I would get so lonely. And I would cry for hours when I first started. Before I started my spiritual journey, I used to sit there and cry for hours because I was just so lonely. I wanted somebody around me. But again, that's that victim mentality that we've been enslaved in, that we're codependent. And so, and then on my spiritual journey, it got to this space where, oh my goodness, you guys have tore that up and made a mess out of your toys. My goodness. It got to the space where, and I really just came into just how deep of this realization just in the past week. Well, since my company was here. Whereas before I started my journey, I didn't like to be alone. I wanted to be in a relationship all the time. Well, I was married, but when I got divorced, I wanted another relationship. I didn't want to be alone. I'm not a fan of going to bed alone and waking up alone. And that was something for me that I really had to come to be okay with. And I used to sit there on my after I started my spiritual journey, I used to call, it's like, Yeshua, please, will you just wrap your arms around me and hold me till I fall asleep? Michael, will you just come lay with me and cuddle with me till I fall asleep? And that's really what got me through it in the beginning of my journey. Especially after the rape, which broke my tailbone, which really put me into full awakening. When I went through that space and remembered the 3.5 billion life, 3.5 billion years into the past and all the past lives and everything I was going through, and I didn't understand it. And it's only because we don't understand something and that we fear change that causes us to be lonely, that causes us to be scared, that causes us, all of that. And so for me, that's really what got me through it, and that's really what helped me, assisted me on my journey. And now I'm in a space, like I said, the visitors that were here, I'm in a space now where I truly, I like being alone. Do I want my partnership? Do I want to be, our natural state of being is in union with somebody. We're not meant to be alone. But the whole thing is we have to learn to be alone and learn to love being alone and being in love with being alone, because until we can learn to love ourselves fully and rely upon ourselves fully and be in love with ourselves fully, there's no way any relationship we have is going to be a lesson. Because until we can totally love ourselves unconditionally, the fat rolls, the wrinkles, the scars, the varicose veins, until we can learn to love ourselves within and without wholly. And it doesn't matter other people's opinions of how we look, how we talk, how we walk, how we feel. And we are not dictated by another. Our emotions are no longer dictated by another. It is then and only then, truly, that we will have that ultimate relationship, that ultimate love affair that all women, and including all men, truly want. Because men are no different than us. They want that faithful woman. I mean, the masks and the disguises and everything else can convince you that they want to be a player and they want to be this, or the ladies like to date 100 different men to make, yada, yada, yada. Your natural state of being wants to be in union. And your natural state of being knows that there ain't 10 that's going to twitterpate your heart. There's one. And that goes for the masculine or the feminine. And now, does that mean that you're going to be with that person? You're supposed to stay with that person in the physical, that, again, that's stuff that you transcend. Our natural state of being in the physical aspect of things, the physical says you have to stay with one person for your entire life. That's God's will. Well, that's not how God works, but that's a man-made contract. But when you become whole within yourself and learn to love yourself, it is then and only then that you can really go into a relationship in the physical aspect of things, totally unconditional love, with total unconditional love. And you're not forcing and projecting your wounds and your issues and bringing those into the relationship, because when you can come into the relationship being whole and complete within yourself, you're not bringing those past issues and those past memories and those past wounds into the relationship, and therefore you're not sabotaging you or your partner. Because if you're not healed, and many of you have heard about rebound relationships. It's a guarantee that you go into a relationship within 1 year after you have broken up from a divorce or something like that. It's a rebound relationship. Heck, for some people it takes 2 and 3, 4, 5 years. And as long as you don't have those wounds healed, you're going into a relationship. There's no relationship that will work as long as you have unhealed issues. Because it's always going to be an underlying fear and an underlying negative connotation of an energy that has already created that relationship to not succeed. Now, whether it takes a couple months, whether it takes 20 years, eventually that negative underlying energy of those unhealed wounds will destroy the relationship, because it's based on conditional love, not unconditional. Alice, I call God truly. Oh, so do I. So do I, Alice, all the time. I feel less lonely. We're going through a huge, huge transformation. Kimmy, I like being alone. I find I'm around too many people. It drains the life out of me. That's how it is for me too, Kimmy. I really seen that with my visitors this past couple of weeks, because I find myself in a space that I try to accommodate my visitors to make them happy, make them comfortable. In the process, I'm making myself miserable. I try to keep my dogs away from them or whatever, and I finally come to this space. It's like, this is my house. What am I doing? It's like, what am I doing? Why am I shutting my dogs in my room because their dogs are being aggressive? No, they can take their dogs out to their vehicle. This is my dog's house. And it's not that I'm being rude. It's just that I had to come to that realization of where I kept sacrificing myself. And that's what these are doing. These energies are revealing the truth and self-deception which we have within ourselves. I was being self-deceiving to myself by sacrificing myself. And those are the things that we're really having to find and having to look. Let's see. Sharon, that's why tonight is special for me. I feel like we're all just here together, friends talking, lots of love all around. I love you guys. I really do. Don't they have a... Too bad they didn't have a group, or maybe they do and I'm not aware of it. Or maybe we need to start something where instead of just me being on video, we could do like a group thing to where we could all talk or something. I don't know if that's available, but if anybody knows anything, to where we can have like a group chat like this at night instead of just me being on video. I can see all of you guys. Let's see here. Hey, love you lots. Time to get ready for work. Need to meditate a little before I go. Have a great day, beautiful. Big, big hugs and blessings, Barbara. That time where I was lost, aware, awake right before. Oh, I'm hearing you there, Alice, And that's the beauty, we're really coming into being okay. And this is another thing that's really prevalent right now, is with this dark feminine aspect rising, if you will. Sex has been a very distorted thing, especially in the feminine here, and it's directly tied into trust and in partnerships and intimacy and worthiness. And you really come into a space throughout your journeys where you think you have to be perfect, and you have to let go of all those lower vibrations within yourself, and you have to let go of those wants and those desires. And really truly we really do. But then by the same token, we have to let go of those behaviors and those desires and those wants and those needs, and that Jezebel energy, if you will, because it has been all corrupted. But part of what's going on this weekend with the final aspect of me and Gaia rising, if you will, of the dark feminine rising. One of the things that there is nothing wrong with being sexy. There is nothing wrong with being in it. And help me out here, Michael. This is your territory, love. You've heard that saying. Let me say it. How you doing, Barack? Big hugs and blessings. A good girl in public and a naughty girl in private, if you will. And for so long, the feminine aspect has been made to that it was shameful to embrace that sexy, naughty aspect, if you will. Do you know what I'm trying to say, ladies? And that is really part of what these energies are doing right now too, with this dark feminine rising, that it's okay to embrace your darkness, or what people label as darkness, or it's okay to embrace all aspects of ourselves without judging it. It's okay that you want to have sex other than a missionary position, I guess, for lack of a better description. You don't have to. There, I guess what I'm trying to convey is it's okay to be that goddess in every aspect, not just that so-called pure perfection that people have enslaved us to be, that God will judge us if we're not absolute perfection. The perfection of somebody else's idea of perfection, I guess. Because again, God is, love is, it just is. And when you can embrace what people call your lower aspects or the dark side of things, or whatever they want to label it, describe it, yada yada yada, that's also one of the things that's really becoming prevalent right now, is we're embracing that goddess in all aspects, and we're coming out of that shame attached to those sexual labels. We're coming out of that shame that we have felt for dressing sexy or dressing provocative, or what somebody would label provocative. We're coming out of where that Jezebel prostitute mindset has distorted sex, and you're really coming into a balance in a space within the sacred union within yourself. And this goes for female or masculine. You're really coming into balance with that, because truly, sex is creation. And when it is done through sexual union rather than one night stands, if you will, when you're coming into a space where sex is no longer taken for granted in miscreation, if you will, versus gratification. And that's a very beautiful thing, is it's no longer driven by the ego for a gratification purpose, which causes a whole lot of miscreations and chaos and the mess that humanity has gotten themselves into. But it comes into more of a purposeful creation through the highest frequency of love and union, if you will. And that's the frequencies we're coming into now, if that made sense. Shannon, I've always been the rescuer, the one with all the response. Oh, Shannon, we're right there with you, beautiful, of self-sacrificing. I'm definitely being shown all of this lately. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you all. And that's it. We're all coming out. Shannon, that is something that is embedded in one of the last real huge lessons and initiations that we're going through, especially the feminine. The masculine are going through it too, only they're going in through the inversion polarity contrast of it. But the feminine aspect has constantly put herself on the chopping block, have constantly sacrificed herself, and she's not doing that anymore. And for the masculine aspect, you're finding the masculine are becoming more open. They're willing to communicate more. They're letting go of that control. And for them, that's their sacrifice, if you will, in its own way. And they're allowing themselves to stop sacrificing and stop putting the feminine in a sacrificial position, if you will, and vice versa. The women are coming in, the feminine is coming into a space where she's no longer massacring the masculine, if you will. if that makes sense. I think that's a pretty good word, because we like to massacre our masculine, the human aspect in the lower 3D worlds. We like to chop off their balls and take away their masculinity when we're pissed off, that was a 3D trait that the feminine carried. And by the same token, the polarity aspect of that, the masculine are really letting go of that too. And they're coming into, we're all masculine, feminine, within and without. We're coming into a space of great appreciation for the opposite aspect. We're coming into much more understanding and understanding through their lens of perception, if you will. And that's really the beautiful thing here, because relationships, for an awakened woman and an awakened man to come into union together, that union is in no way, shape, or form anything like the 3D relationships and marriages and partnerships that we had. There is a great amount of respect, admiration, balance, openness, transparency, equality, harmonization, passion, ecstasy, intense intimacy in every way, and it's balanced in every way. And that is the ultimate love story, if you will. But it's the ultimate love story in the sense of the sacred union of two whole coming into holiness as one. And that truly is the relationship when you strip away everything that the masculine really wants with his feminine. And he wants to be her hero, and she wants to be his queen. But it's no longer a competition. It's more of a complementing each other. It's no longer a hero to rescue her, but a hero as in, this is my king, and I'm here as his queen side by side with him. There is no, I'm better than you, or I have control over you, or you're just on my arm to look good, or you're just with me because you got a Cadillac. There is no more of those duality mindsets. There's none of that. It truly, we're coming into a space in the unions that we're going to, when we reunite in those sacred unions, my whole body just went on fire. Every time he thinks about me, I tell you, my body comes alive. I feel it. And that's the divine consort. And that's the union we're coming into. And that is a union that is really the ultimate love story that all of humanity truly wants. That peace, love, happiness, abundance, prosperity, bliss, ecstasy, intimacy, passion, seduction, sensuality, and that rapturous, orgasmic, heartgasmic, passionate love in every way. Physical, non-physical, all of it. And that's really the spaces we're moving into. And that's a beautiful thing. Because that's the frequency, because you don't have to be in union to have that feeling of being in love, to have your heart twitterpated like that. That is a frequency that is going to be, whether you're in union or not, you're going to be able to stay in that bliss. And that's a beautiful thing, sweet ones. I love you too, Barad. Big hugs and blessings. I feel like I wear many hats in my family. Kimmy, those are the masks and disguises that you on your spiritual journey are being asked to release. And the more inner healing you do, beautiful, and the higher you raise your frequency to, you will discover that you don't need to wear those masks no more. You don't need, because it is only the human ego mind programming that makes us put masks on and makes us feel that we have to wear disguises. Because otherwise we'll be shamed, we'll be rejected, and we'll be labeled, and we'll be dissected and everything else. And sweetheart, truly, the more inner work you do, you come to a space, there's no opinion that matters. Not even our own. And when you want to know freedom, get to that space. Because truly, when nobody's opinion matters, not even... When I came to that realization, I think it was like a little over a year ago. It's like, what the hell? It's like, nobody's opinion matters. My opinion don't even matter. What am I talking about? I think I made a post. No opinion matters. Not even my own. Excuse me. So, Kimmy, I mean, it's helpful to understand, Kimmy, that we are put into families, we are put into situations, we are put into circumstances, because we are that light. We're deliberately put into families that have a lot of so-called dark issues. You know, whether that's abuse, this, that, or the other. And just like now, even those of us who are in full awareness that we're here on a mission, whether it's a light worker, whether is a way shower, whether it's a gatekeeper, a grid worker, you know, or like myself, I'm here on a galactic mission. And when we come into that understanding, and you come into that knowing, it change. I mean, it gives you a different outlook, but we still are in that space where you come into a space, Kimmy, where truly you start to see through it, and you start to see that you are the light, you are that pillar, and you're in the place where you need to be at that moment. Whether there's a whole lot of darkness, whether your family is not on the awakening journey, whatever it is, it's all by perfect design. And you come to see that truly it is all synchronicity, that it's not just a coincidence, that it's not this and it's not that. And no matter how dark it seems to be around you, or how dark or evil or mean or whatever label you want to give it, of the people around you, whether that's your earth family, whether, you know, whatever it may be, you come to a frequency in a space where you understand that we did sign up for this, and that we are the best of the best because we can. We are that, even if we don't remember it, we are that pillar of light. And the higher in frequency you go, you come to just know. Okay. This is just another one of those days where I just have to be that pillar of peace and that pillar of light in the midst of this holographic illusion that's being presented. You know, and the holographic illusion is falling away, if you will. And, well, every matrix is a holographic illusion, but the darker holographic illusion matrix grid is going to be no more for those on the awakening journey, and you're really going to start seeing that after this weekend. You're really going to start seeing that heavenly paradise more and more, that abundance, that prosperity frequencies, that heavenly paradise manifests quicker and quicker, more and more into the physical plane now after this weekend and you're really going to start seeing the physical morph a lot. Like I said earlier, you know, if you stand outside and you observe, you can literally see your eyes are being upgraded. You can literally see the energy waves. More and more are going to come into, like I try to describe it a couple times on my other videos, everything I see is light particles. You know, I can sit there and I can bring them together. I can expand them. I can play with them. I see energy before I see form. And, you know, you're coming into that space. And it's magical. It's just truly magical. I mean, the higher in frequency we evolve to, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, that's actually a really good description. It's mind-blowing because your mind, sweethearts, will never be able to wrap itself around the heart. The mind will never be able to wrap logic around the unseen, around the formless, around the unheard, because the mind needs tangible proof. And we all know. Look at that teenage crush. We all know the love is in no way, in no shape or form, love in and of itself. Spirit is formless. And yes, everything is love. And yes, even the tangible, the table, the chairs, the floor, I mean, everything is love, matter or antimatter. But you come into a space where your definitions and your labels and your expectations and everything changes. And I don't know, for me it's just all magical anymore. Even when I get into a space of lower vibrational energies like I had with my visitors, you know, to me it got to a space where literally I could walk right by them and not even see them unless they said something to me, because my frequency was so much higher. And to me, I'm aware of the energy, but I just reflect it back, you know, from my shield. I just have a shield on that it can't attach to me. And I'm able to stay into that blissful space, if you will. And you come into that space where things don't knock you off kilter or rob you of your happiness. The outside world and others don't dictate your happiness, I guess is the way to say it, if you will. And you know, and so for so long we've been taught that everything outside of us has to dictate our emotions, control our emotions. And when you take back, your spiritual journey is taking back that. And when you really fully take it back, there's nothing that anybody can do that's going to really take you out of that space of bliss or peace. And when you do, or when a circumstances or something does happen, you're able to catch it and put yourself right back into your heart space. And everything really does become a magical dance. No matter how seemingly difficult or challenging or hard something may appear to be, you're able to find the divinity and the glory and the happiness and the magic in it. And that's the beauty of our journey, and that's really the space we're going into. Is everything is becoming more magical. And all of those lower frequency, is there still going to be contrast? Absolutely. But there isn't going to be duality contrast. There isn't going to be those lower frequencies of racism, of prejudice, of hate. Is there still going to be experiences of contrast? Absolutely. Because you're on a... Earth is a contrast planet. It's a one of a kind. That's why it's heaven and hell. You know, and she's dropping her hellish planes. She's let it go. And now she's golden. It's just gonna be paradise. Paradise of contrast rather than paradise of duality. If you will. If you can call duality paradise. So, anyways. Kimmy, you'll come to a space where you will be worthy enough and feel worthy enough and know you're worthy enough and deserving enough to remove your masks and disguises. Beautiful. And you know what? We're here walking you through it, walking with you through it. We're not walking your path for you, but we got you, beautiful. We're here hand in hand, side by side with you because we've wore those masks too. I think we've probably all had a few billion of them that we've had. That we've had to shed. Brenda, I must focus more with my eyes when I go outside, like it's blurry at first. And it will be, and you're really going to find, guys, that your eyesight, even just like sitting here talking to you guys, I mean, the blurriness goes in and out. You'll see me go like that with my eyes because they get blurry. And again, for me to see form, I have to adjust my eyesight. So if you always see me doing that, it's because I'm trying to see the form of the phone. But I mean, I can sit here even looking at my phone, talking on this video, and I literally, the screen of my phone is a bunch of it's just a bunch of particles, and I have to really focus on it to actually see the phone itself. So Ellen says, I get that more and more now. Feel I can help someone it's unbalanced within the family. Oh, we're doing a lot of transmuting with our families right now. Sharon, me too. I've been in a blissful state since the eclipse. You have been a great help. I love you guys. You are still alive and I can't. Cheryl, you're still not seeing me yet. That's those energies. You guys will come into your space if you guys haven't had these experiences. The higher in frequency you go, and when you got a lot of energy running through you, it really freaked me out. This happened to me within the first year of my journey, and I had no clue what the heck was happening. I picked up a glass, and a plastic glass, and it melted in my hand. It's like, what the hell? And, and then there's been a few times where I can pick up a glass, and I've learned, this is something I've had to learn on my journey, is when I got a whole lot of energy running through me, and especially before I learned what was happening, and before I really understood the importance of grounding, I'd have a lot of energy running through me, and I'd go to get a glass of juice or something like that, and the glass would break in my hand. There was a 6-month period where my energy was so high that I sizzled 5 phones and 2 laptops. there was, even now, most of the time my phone's been plugged in. Most of the time I've been on here in my room. That's why I'm in my room plugging it in. My phone can be at 100%, and I can get a phone call, and it'll be drained within like 20 minutes. There's times where I cannot. I did a live video on my laptop. My sister had gotten me a laptop, and I had done a live video on it, and it freaked me out. You could literally see me changing into my light body on it, and I was tripping out. So now I don't do. I didn't even realize that was a conscious issue until just now. I haven't done a live video on my laptop since it freaked me out so much. I just realized that. So you see how clever we are with ourselves, guys? And so that's also the necessity and importance of grounding, because that just shows you when... Come here, Tony. That just shows you that if you don't ground these energies... Oh, Brenda, you have no idea, because I was in the first year of my journey, and at that point, I didn't even know. I still hadn't heard the words awakening, enlightenment, ascension. At that point, in the beginning of my journey, I still didn't know those terms, if you will. And I had no clue what the hell was going on. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand energy at that time. None of that. Much love to you all. Morning sickness is doing a number on me this week. I'm sick to my stomach and just want to sleep. Megan, try some citrus water, honey. Put some lemon water in there. And do you have any crystals, Megan? Healing crystals? If you have some rose quartz, if you have, what's another good one for nausea? Hey, if you know what will help you with, if you're sick to your stomach, honey, is if you can get some double mint gum or a mixture of mint tea, spearmint, and peppermint, that will help. Or if you have some peppermint or eucalyptus or lavender essential oil, if you put some under your nose, and that will help. That will help calm that nausea and morning sickness. Beautiful. You have rose quartz, then put some lay the rose quartz on your tummy and rub your belly and just really make love to your vessel, not in a sexual way, but just love your vessel and just say, it's okay. And you will find the more you do that, you will find, especially if you drink some citrus water and some peppermint, a mixture of peppermint tea, you're going to find that will help flush that nausea through. A lot of this nausea is coming up because of the upgrades and the energies going on right now. And if you can sit out on the grass maybe, as you sip some tea or something, that too will help. Ask Gaia, go outside and sit on the grass and ask Gaia, please help release some of these energies from me. Wrap me in your arms, and she will. You'll feel her. You'll feel her. And there is on my videos, there's 4 or 5 star language transmission videos. If you resonate with that, beautiful, that too will help with the nausea and stuff. I'll do another star language video and upload it in the next day or so. Barat, when energies are high, why are sexual desires rise high? Because the higher in frequency you go, that feminine energy is very present, if you will. And with the feminine rising, especially the dark feminine coming into balance in union, Barat, again, that is a lot of times people, how do I say this, Michael? A lot of times it's I don't like to use that word. The feminine energy is a very powerful energy, and it is oftentimes disguised as, not disguised, that's not the right word. The human aspect often takes it as a sexual energy when it is really just a pure, true, loving energy. And because it is such a powerful, loving energy, it is often disguised as a very sexual energy. And really, that's just a balance within you, Bharat. Now, why do I say it like that? Because, yes, it is a very sensual, intimate energy. And love is the higher frequencies of love are a very intimate love, not necessarily a sexual gratification love. And that's why so often when you have people come into the energy of somebody like myself that has evolved their frequency, and people feel that higher frequency of that goddess, of that high priestess, of that, it's often mistaken for a sexual energy. That's, again, in this spiritual community, you meet somebody from your soul monads, from your soul tribes, and so often it's mistaken for a twin flame, because there is that intense energy of soul recognition, that higher frequency of that higher love. And it is, to the human aspect, love and sex are one and the same. I hope that made sense, Brett. Alright, where are we at here? Ellen, you get nausea in the mornings too? Astro, hi Astro, big hugs and blessings. Alice, it like very sister touch much more, yes. And so, Bharat, you've had sexual high energies the whole time I've been on my journey, Bharat. I'm just teasing you. I'm giving you a big hug, Bharat. But those energies are always there. Anyway, sweet ones, I'm going to get off of here and charge my phone. We're down to 13%. I love you. Have a beautiful, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Is it Thursday or is it Friday? Is it Wednesday? I don't even know. So, happy Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, whatever day it is. Have a great night, sweet ones. Big, big, big hugs and blessings. Victor, love and sex to us in the human aspect are one and the same. Bam, thanks. Well, to the human it is. We've been enslaved. Is that not true, Victor? To the human aspect, we have been enslaved to love and sex are the same thing. We, of course, in the higher frequency know that it is not the one and the same thing. But to the human aspect, we have been enslaved to believe that sex and love are the same thing. And really, truly, they are two very, very different things. And two very beautiful and glorious and magical things in and of themselves. And when you can bring them together, love and sex, and it truly is the ultimate creation story. And when you can come into that space where you have, and Victor, I'm going to use you an example. Say me and Victor, an awakened man and an awakened woman, came into that sexual union, if you will. Boy, you got put on the spot, didn't you, Victor? And You get an awakened man that is whole within himself, that is in sacred balance within himself. And you get an awakened woman that is in wholeness, in completeness, and in balance and sacred balance within herself. And you come in together into that love union. And when you do come into that space within that love union, and you do have physical, I'm not talking astral, but well, I guess it could be applied to astral sex too. But you come into that physical union. That sexual union, physically, if you will, it becomes a holy, in every sense of the word, union. Because you both are whole and complete within yourselves. And then you take two wholes and you bring them together, and you've just made a trinity. You have just birthed a whole new seed of holiness through that sacred union. And you have just created a whole new universe. And it is when you have two people. I'm going to put Victor on the spot again just because he brought it up. I love you, Victor. And so, say you have Victor, who is whole and complete. You have Linda, who is whole and complete. They come into a physical union. And they go into a sexual union physically, if you will, because they are whole and complete within themselves. They have now created something extremely beautiful, but because they are whole within themselves, they have just amplified that light, and they have magnified it in the most powerful way. And you'll find when you come into union, into a relationship, into a love relationship, and where both of you are complete, you are awakened, you don't fall in love, you evolve in love. There is no more falling in love. You come to a space that you evolve in love, and you come to a space where that sexual union becomes more tantric and more it comes to a space where it's not about gratification in any way. It truly is making love to love. It's not about necessarily sex as it is about the touching and the tantric part of it and the sacredness of it. And I better shut up because I'm going to start turning these men on. Anyways, I can already see it. Bharat's telling me, look at that. You know the way I think about you, see? I love you guys. Yes, I know, Bharat. I know how you feel about me, darling, but you still have an earthly contract that you're in that you need to deal with. And on that note, I love you. I love you all. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. Have a great night, whatever night it is, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And feel the magic, find the magic. And if you find yourself spiraling or too intense, I encourage you to take a salt bath, drink some water, spend time out in nature, eat some greens, and honor thyself. And honor Gaia. And love her up. Have a great night, guys. Big hugs and blessings. If you find yourself spiraling, reach out. We're here for you. You're not alone, ever. You're always safe. You're always protected. And we got this hand in hand. Side by side together. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye now.